Let's talk about Oklahoma again, somehow. Oklahoma Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ryan Walters, I've talked about him forever. He's the conservative Christian MAGA cultist whose entire role of running public education in Oklahoma is to shove the Bible in the face of every kid in the state. He's still trying to do that, by the way, but there is an update that I thought was really interesting and you might half appreciate and half get annoyed by. So I'm going to tell you about his latest grift in a second, but just to give you catch you up on where he's at. Back in October, Ryan Walters said he wanted to spend $6 million to buy Bibles to put in every classroom in the state of Oklahoma. He wanted to buy new King James Version Bibles, and he said, my office has budgeted $3 million for this, and we're asking the Oklahoma legislature to give us the other $3 million, and then we will have Bibles for every classroom in the state. Now, mind you, Oklahoma only has like 43,000 public school teachers, and most of them don't teach classes where you would need to reference the Bible. So what the hell? And even if you bought a copy of the book for all 43,000 teachers, 6 million divided by 43,000, that comes out to like $140 a book. Why do you need to spend that much money on a book? Did you know the Bible's online and available for free? It is. But this guy wants to spend $6 million to buy a book stop for every classroom in the state. And then, and you remember this, what did he say after he made that announcement? You couldn't just buy a Bible because, again, Bibles are free. And this wasn't about that. This was a grift. He wanted to help his buddy Donald Trump make money off of this. And so he announced, like, hey, we're taking bids on which publisher can make all the Bibles we need for the classrooms. Oh, by the way, I'm going to change the thing so you can only use the KJV edition, which is not copyrighted. But it's also not easy to read because it uses like old language. So it has to be KJV. It has to include the Pledge of Allegiance and the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Oh, and it has to be bound in leather or leather-like material. And when we talked about that several months ago, the reason that specificity mattered is because no publisher had all those things in one book. And they were like, we can't supply this. We would have to start from scratch, and that would take us a lot of time and a lot of money. But there was one book that fit all those rules, that fit the criteria, and it happened to be the type of Bible Donald Trump was selling during his campaign season, which were probably just sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So the only types of Bibles you could buy using taxpayer money in Oklahoma were the ones hawked by Donald Trump last year. And then people got mad about that, as they should. So that was the grift. In short, Ryan Walters made it sound like he found a neutral way to send Donald Trump his share of millions of taxpayer dollars while simultaneously getting Bibles in public schools. Like, it was all very stupid. Especially, again, when you consider that Bibles are free. If you need to reference the Bible, just tell kids to go on their phone and look it up. They can do it. Even Governor Kevin Stitt, the Republican governor of Oklahoma, who's definitely not a liberal, said it just seems like a giant waste of money. So then there was backlash to Ryan Walters' plan. Superintendents said, you don't control our curriculum, our local community does, and we don't want the Bible in school. There was a lawsuit to prevent the plan from being enacted. And then Ryan Walters backed off. He removed the bid notice that was for the Trump Bibles. He took that down from the website. And then later he said, I'm just going to buy 500 Trump Bibles for use in AP government classes, which are classes where you don't need an extra textbook. I don't even know what that's all about. But the reason I bring all this up and catch you up on this is because now we have updates on this story. One of them is that last week, remember Ryan Walters wanted the legislature to give him $3 million to buy these books? Well, the Senate Education Appropriations Subcommittee had their meeting recently to discuss what the budget's going to be for education. And guess what they did about the $3 million Ryan Walters wanted? They just didn't even put that on their list. They didn't really discuss it. They didn't talk about it. They just moved on like it never happened. They did not give him the $3 million, and they really didn't even act like he requested it. That was kind of amazing. So there was that budget request. And by the way, you could even, I'm going to show you, this is actually the budget request that Ryan Walters made to the legislature. Name of request, Bibles in schools. Type recurring every year. How much money do you want for 2026? $3 million. Why? It's funding to provide KJV Bibles to all Oklahoma classrooms, grades 5 through 12. And the Senate Education Committee is like, yeah, we're not doing that. Not doing it. Not at all. So that's kind of amazing and wild and good. Let me show you what one lawmaker said about this. And oops, for some reason, I have lost this. But one Democratic lawmaker said about all this. Here we go. Check this out. There's not enough money to set aside for the $3 million if it's going to end up in a big lawsuit or perpetuate a lawsuit. This is from Democratic State Senator Mary Boren. It's really, sincerely, not a priority of Oklahomans. Oklahomans are very familiar with the Bible. They're very dutiful in picking their pastor, youth group leaders, and Sunday school teachers. When you really listen to the people, they're just not in favor of having the government involved in that. So basically, because of the threat of a lawsuit and the fact that this is way too much money you're asking for, they did not even really consider this. So that's amazing. The other thing that she said that I really liked, you know what they did spend money on? The lawmaker says that's why Senate Education Subcommittee members decided to prioritize other things in their proposed fiscal year 2026 budget instead, like teaching kids math and making sure maternity pay is covered, which is wild because you know two things Ryan Walters hates are women and numbers. Teaching kids math. What? Something useful? That goes against everything Ryan Walters stands for. So they're not going to give him the money for the Bibles. So when Ryan Walters heard he's not getting the money that he wants for any of this, he decided, well, I'm not going to stand for this. So he decided to partner up with a different buddy of his to make something happen. And this is the headline I saw recently. Lee Greenwood launches campaign to donate Bibles for Oklahoma classroom use. Lee Greenwood, the God Bless the USA guy. By the way, if you haven't seen John Oliver's segment, last week tonight's segment on Lee Greenwood, go watch it. It's so good. But this is interesting because if you don't know the backstory here, you might wonder, why is Lee Greenwood getting involved in this Ryan Walters charade over here? And there actually is a good reason for this. Years ago, Lee Greenwood tried to sell his own Bible. It's called the God Bless the USA Bible. Trump is in that picture, but Trump was not endorsing this Bible at the time. That's just Lee Greenwood saying, hey, I'm MAGA, now buy my Jesus book. And you can even see, you could see this is a leather-bound Holy Bible. It says God Bless the USA on it. So one of the ways Lee Greenwood marketed his Bible is, I think it cost at the time $40, but guess what it had on it? Check this out. This is what he was promoting at the time. This book has the KJV translation. It includes copies of the handwritten chorus to God Bless the USA, his song, and the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance. And he's tried to sell this for years, and no one was buying it, because why would you buy a $40 book that has stuff you can get online for free? And eventually, Donald Trump is like, I'll sell those Bibles, maybe put my name on it, or give me a cut of the proceeds. Stop selling them for $40, sell them for $60 plus shipping, and I get a cut of the proceeds. And Lee Greenwood said yes, and that's why Donald Trump began hawking those Trump Bibles. It's the Lee Greenwood sitting in a warehouse Bibles, and Trump slapped his name on it and figured his voter base was dumb enough to buy it. And that's where we get the Trump Bibles from. And that's the book that Ryan Walters is now trying to get in every classroom in Oklahoma. So after the legislature said, we're not giving you money for this, and I don't even know if Ryan Walters' office had $3 million to buy for this, he's now enlisting Lee Greenwood to try to make up the funding so that he can do all this. All right, so this is what Walters posted on X/Twitter. We're bringing Bibles back to classrooms, honoring their role in shaping American history, law, and culture. Thank you, the Lee Greenwood, for standing with us to give students access to this foundational text, which they can also access online for free. Let's get back to the basics. Like, I don't know what he's trying to prove here. It's kind of dumb. One of the things, I'm not going to open that up. In the fine print, in that letter that he posted, like on official superintendent stationery, he says the Oklahoma legislature stripped all funding away from getting Bibles back into the classroom. That's a lie. They just never agreed to give him that money in the first place. And that's different. It's not theft when you never had it in the first place. You know what I mean? Ryan Walters also tells people to visit the website biblesforoklahoma.com, which redirects to the website for Lee Greenwood's shitty old Bible. Like, you know those commercials where you can symbolically adopt an endangered elephant in a foreign country and you don't get anything in return, but maybe it makes you feel better? What Ryan Walters is asking for is he's saying, send us $60 so you can symbolically purchase a Bible that we can use in schools. You don't even get the Bible. He just wants your money now as like a fundraiser to buy the Bibles. Where is that money being kept? I don't know. What happens if they raise millions of dollars, but like they can't distribute the Bibles because of lawsuits and schools don't want them? Where does that money go? No one knows. He hasn't said. So all of this is so weird. It doesn't make any sense. And Ryan Walters insists this is not about religion. He said this is about endorsing, quote, the historical and secular significance of the Bible in all areas of education. But it's not historical, and it's definitely not secular. My favorite thing about this story, I think, Lee Greenwood also posted a tweet about this, but check this out. It's the funniest thing. The Bible is the most influential document in our nation's history. Ryan Walters has committed to get every kid in Oklahoma a Bible. That's not true. Walters wants to get in every classroom. Not every kid's going to have it. Lee Greenwood is dumb and doesn't know what he's talking about. But we need your help. Go to biblesforoklahoma.com and join the fight. Order now to donate. That seems weird. Order now to donate. Okay, whatever. There's your Lee Greenwood Bible. But the funniest thing about this tweet that Lee Greenwood made, you know what tweet he made right before it? Let's scroll down. I'm proud to partner with Global Coin to bring you an exclusive collection of collectible coins that honor our nation's history and values. Each coin is a limited edition treasure, crafted with stunning detail and backed by authenticity. Perfect for collectors, patriots, and those something. He's trying to sell some fake coin that he has stamped his seal of approval on. So he's grifting with the coin, and then like 5 seconds later, he's grifting with the Bible and just trying to take people's money now because no one wants that damn book. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is just a dumb idea. Oh, by the way, I said his book was $40. It was actually $50. I apologize. And Trump raised it to $60 and gets to keep a portion of it. I don't know. I think maybe the bigger story here is that even Republicans seem to be getting sick of Ryan Walters. Like, they've tried to impeach him. They just didn't quite have the numbers for that. They said no to his budget request to buy these Bibles. Like, you don't have to hand it to them under any circumstances. Oklahoma Republicans are very, very bad at what they do. They've done plenty of damage. But on this issue, even they seem kind of sick and tired of Ryan Walters dragging everyone down. And in case you're wondering, Oklahoma is ranked 49th in the country when it comes to education. And this is what these people are debating right now. What other questions we got here before I move on? Sticky pages. That's right. The Trump Bible that they were selling said in the FAQ that you might have sticky pages. And like, what do you do if you have sticky pages? And the fact that this book had sticky pages meant JD Vance was reading it while sitting on the couch. The Trump Bibles have a version of the Constitution that is edited and incorrect. Does that comply with the bid rules? That is interesting. I don't know specifically what you're referencing, which part of it is edited. The Trump Bible is missing amendments 11 through 27. Well, I know they're missing like the 13th through the 15th. So they just stopped at the Bill of Rights and they don't have any of the amendments on there. So slavery is still legal, everyone. Yay. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Putting Bibles in schools and taking away free lunch program for kids. Yes, that is the Republican motto. That is correct. I do wonder how much of this is actually about taking social services away instead of instilling religion. I mean, they can do both. I'm pretty sure they want to. They're taking away all the government programs that help people. And if their own voters, who, by the way, make a lot of use of those programs, get screwed over, again, you can't expect conservatives to care about other humans. That goes against their very nature. So, and if they can indoctrinate them with religion in the process, like, they'll take that every time.